I knew I wanted to write songs, and I felt called to write songs, but I felt like my main calling was serving in the local church.
Sure. Yep.
And for the first 10 years of my vocational ministry, those things kind of felt like divorced parents, if you will. Like, I've got to choose to be here, or I've got to choose to be here.
Yep.
And in the Lord's timing, now I get to do both. And but for me, that meant I needed to work on songwriting kind of in hiding, honestly.
Sure. Yeah.
For like a solid decade.
Okay.
And I perceived that I was behind because I didn't live in Nashville or whatever. But now what I'm seeing is like sometimes that hiddenness, if you will, like can be the right place. You know, it can be the appropriate place for growth. And
That's so good, dude.
You know, I was writing from my local church.
Yeah.
And so at the right point with the right songs, that stuff starts making its way out. And you know, then you have people going, man, you know, how'd you get here? And I'm like, well, what you didn't see was a decade.
There's nothing of an overnight success. There's no way. Yeah.
You didn't see the decade of like hundreds of bad songs, you know, or however many, you know, lots of bad work.
I don't know why it makes me think of like Noah literally building the ark for like 120 years.
Yeah.
People are like, don't understand. And he's, you know, how many times did he like hit his thumb with the hammer? It was just like, and he's doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And because he had like a secret plan. But like, I guess what were some of the big moments for you in that decade of songwriting where you're like, I just feel the Lord like meeting me here and calling me back here and maybe not feeling released? Like, what were some things that you learned in that season?
Yeah. It was a real wrestling season. That I would consider that season like my wrestling with God years, you know. Because I think there were things that I wanted to do, maybe that I even felt like God had put in my heart to do, that the doors weren't open yet.
I've never felt that. So I've never felt. That's interesting.
What, you haven't?
Yeah. But keep going.
So part of that, part of that was comparison was a big part of that. You know, why are you opening that door for that person and not for me?
Yep.
And so that season was the season of hiddenness, if you will, was almost like the Lord took me to the wilderness and checked my motives, corrected a lot of motives. I think that was the first thing that needed to happen, which I'm so thankful for now in the moment. You know, it's like discipline kind of. It's like you don't really enjoy it in the moment. So checking my motives and my, you know, is comparison eating me alive? You know, why am I really doing this type thing? And then out of that also like, hey, it's can be healthy and good to work on a craft relatively unseen, relatively unknown for a long time. Which it's wild when you think of Jesus's life, you know, this Messiah, Savior of the world, 30 years largely undocumented. You know, we get these little glimpses at the temple, and but like for the most part, and that's a mystery to me. I'm like, why did we not? Why didn't they not write that into the Gospels? And I'm like, I don't know. In God's sovereignty, I guess, like He just sees it that we need to, you know, He revealed what we needed to. But I think some of what that's saying is like, hey, if Jesus could even go through this really long season, and it not be documented and written about, and you know, on the tabloids, then I wonder if maybe that's not a bad thing. Because I think I perceived it as a negative, you know? And so I think in that season I learned to be okay with where I was, learned to write songs and lead the people that were in front of me. And
so good.
Then in the right timing, the Lord prospered different things. And